have so many questions for y'all. But a comment that I saw on Facebook, I just kind of wanted to talk about it. Not sure if any of you guys are familiar with Minister Stretch Sanders. Are y'all?
Yes.
Familiar? Okay.
Yes.
And so I know he's a true advocate and community leader here in Vegas, and he's been on the show before. But he said something that was really interesting, and I want to get your opinions on it. So he said some people who are 55 and up are literally going to be the death of certain organizations, including the church. They are so stuck on doing things one way that they are losing the youth and younger generations. Any organization with no youth or younger leadership is a dead organization. He said he's all for traditions, but we have to be willing to also shift certain traditions so they fit the times. He said if your phone doesn't have an update, it runs slow. Well, that's how organizations are. When you have to run when you're running your organizations the same way. He said you have to be willing to update it and align it with the times. He said we need our elders, but we need y'all to listen and be willing to also be coached. So my question is, what do y'all think that's true in this statement, or if you think the statement is true? And should the young people coming up just sit back and shut up and mind our elders? Should we just
No, they
well,
should
not we, 'cause
not.
I'm not young, but
They should stand
Okay.
up and speak.
You think so?
And I think we need to listen.
Okay.
I'm a big advocate for adults listening to children, listening to youth, because I feel like they have so much wisdom that we all have the wisdom as we're young, and as we grow up, we get into living, into life, into whatever it is we get into, and we can lose that wisdom. And children are precious and wonderful, and they need a podium and a platform. It doesn't even mean that we're going to agree with them, but we have to listen to them and we have to hear what they have to say. And a lot of older folks definitely can get in the way of that because they were stuck in our mindset, stuck in a certain way. This how it's always been. This how we got to do it. And where has that gotten us, mother suckers? Where has that gotten us?
And I'm a veggie back off of what the minister was saying, but I'm gonna add this to it. This piece is this: if we didn't train the young people in a certain way, it's difficult. Now, this is for those organizations who haven't trained up their leadership.
Okay.
Now, if you don't train up the youth in a way that they can be heard,
That's true.
because it is kind of difficult to, you can't just listen to everything everybody is saying, youth or elder for that matter. If they're not trained to take their role in that position, then that's what's happening. And yes, the communities are dying via that very same reason. Instead of giving our children to somebody else to teach what they want them to learn, we should be training them up for that ultimate transition. So I agree with the minister.
That's
And I agree with what MVP is saying, but again, it's got to be with purpose.
Yes.
DK, you got something? Anything?
No, I agree. And listening with purpose is how everything has gotten done throughout history. And I feel like a lot of times getting stuck in tradition, sometimes we can get stuck in a rut. And which when you only are looking at things from just your point of view, you're blinding yourself to the other possibilities. Okay. It's not saying that what you are doing or have done hasn't been working, but if it can be working better or more optimal, or it can reach a certain audience better, like why would you not want to try and pursue that and try and help as many people as you can? As an educator, I've sat down with my students and asked, like, how do y'all feel about the class? Like, what needs to improve? Do y'all like this? Do y'all like that? And I'll try to foster an environment that makes them feel safe enough to be honest. And in being honest, they gave me some honest feedback, and some of it, I'm not gonna lie, hurt a little bit. But in the long run, it helps me make the classroom better for them, so they can really intake this information. And like, to go off of what Falcon said, like, to help me better train them up so they can lead the next generation. So I don't want to just stop here. I feel like each generation should want the next generation to be better. Like, why would we want to stop at the wall? Why would we? This is what we know. This is where we've been. Okay, that's great. Let's push beyond that. Let's continue to stack and grow.
Yeah, and don't argue for the limitations. A lot of times the mindset is one way and you don't want to grow from it, or there's an excuse why we can't do this because of that. We can't do this because of that. But I feel like a lot of times that argues the limitations, because we can do whatever we put our minds to.
Absolutely.
And so it sounds like both of you guys are saying this statement is absolutely true.
Shout out Minister Stretch Sanders.
Absolutely true. And that we just, as the older generation that we're becoming, that we need to do better. And because it might not be, and I'm going to be honest, it might not be possible for